Now, he's a painter whose work has long divided opinion in the art world, but Jack Vettriano continues to enjoy widespread acclaim among the public. The first major retrospective of his work in Glasgow is on course to break records, with thousands of people coming through the doors. He spoke to Scotland Tonight at the Kelvingrove Art Gallery. Jack Vettriano, this is a retrospective of your entire career.
Yeah.
You've been reacquainted with some old favourites you haven't seen for a long time. How do you feel about that?
Well, I said when it opened that if I had come into this exhibition on my own, I would have cried. But I had several men with me, and I thought, big boys don't cry. But it was absolutely astonishing to see some of the early work. And what I think worried me most was that some of the early work, you can see that it's limited, and well, I was limited in my technical ability, so I was doing the best I could, but I thought, what will the public think of this? And then I thought to myself, but what is a retrospective if it's not a 20-year development of somebody's career?
You're an artist who's come in for criticism from the art establishment, as it were. How important is this sort of reaffirmation for you of what the public thinks?
Well, that's a kind of debate that I get sort of drawn into as if you like, the National Galleries not being particularly supportive, and I try to avoid that and look at the positive. Is that for Glasgow to do this for me, I think is just astonishing. I mean, if only they would make me Lord Provost, I'd be a really happy man. I understand from the gallery that it's already proving to be the most successful exhibition that Kelvingrove have ever had, and I'm not getting tied up in numbers or figures or anything, but I think that in itself is a great sort of humbling experience, you know. And I mean, I was out at the door there having a fly cigarette, if I can say that. And I met this woman who had come all the way from Preston on a wheelchair. Well, no, she got on a train, but it's amazing, you know. I mean, there's a time when you wouldn't expect somebody to walk to the end of the road to look at your work, and they're coming from all over the UK and Europe. And
your story as an artist is well known. You came from the mines, you taught yourself, you didn't go to art college. And part of the way you taught yourself was by studying the masters. What sort of lessons did you learn from that?
Just to give you an example, is that I would ordinarily have thought that if you wanted to paint a man in a white shirt, the shadow would be grey. But Monet shows you that shadows aren't grey. The shadows reflect the colours around them. So the shadows that he does are they're pinks, they're blues, they're greens, and that's the kind of things that you start to pick up, you know. And I'm not shy about saying that I'm quite pleased that I've managed to bring sex into the art world, because my feeling's always been that the guardians of art in this country find sex just a bit, well, that's not real art, is it? I mean, that's you can't take that seriously. I mean, if I was painting industrial decline or inner city drug issues, that's art. That's real, you know. That's a social comment.
Is the sex not a lot of it fantasy though? It's fantasy rather than perhaps reality.
Well, I don't know what kind of life you've lived, but no. I mean, for me, the paintings are to a fair degree biographical. I've either been there, or I've been dying to get there, or somebody that I know has been there, and that's the usual excuse, is that, oh no, I knew a guy once that did that, but that guy sometimes has been me.
we're facing a constitutional debate at the moment, and that's maybe inspired a lot of artists. Is it something that would inspire you? And do you think maybe the artists who are working on that basis, what do you make of the work that's been produced?
No, I don't know what's been produced because I don't live here. But politics certainly, is just way over my head. I'm just not interested. But for what it's worth, I did some work with Alex Salmond on his. He does a Christmas card every year. He said, "Would you do my Christmas card?" And I thought, "Yeah, I'll do that for you, Alex." So I phoned this model and I said to her, "We're going to Soho tomorrow to Ann Summers, and we'll get you a little short Santa suit, the suspenders underneath." So I did the painting, and I sent it to his office, and we got word back from his office saying, "God, this is hot stuff. We love this." And I thought, "Oh, that's amazing. It's amazing to get it right first time." And I got a phone call from him on the Monday saying, "Jack, it's too hot. It's too hot to handle." He said, "If I send this out to the moderator of the Church of Scotland, he's going to spew his cornflakes all over the table." So he said, "I love it, but I can't use it. I really can't use it." And I said, "Well, will you give me another chance?" And he said, "What? You're asking me to give you another chance?" And I said, "Give me a week." So I came up with a painting, and it's called Let's Twist Again. And it's just, it's sort of set in the 60s, 70s, and it's just a couple twisting, and, there's Christmas decorations around them and stuff. And there's a wee Christmas present with the Scottish saltire on it, just sucking up to the First Minister.
And finally, this is a retrospective of your career. You used to paint something that you'd say 4 paintings a week. You were very prolific. What's the future for Jack Vettriano?
Well, there's a project that I can't talk about because somebody will steal it if I talk about it. But I'm very flattered to have found out that one of my fans in Italy is Ennio Morricone. Now, they don't come much better than that. And his management have approached my agent and said, "Look, we'd like to do a collaboration." And I'm thinking, what? Am I supposed to write music, or is he going to paint? But fortunately, he's going to write the music and I'm going to paint. I'm going to do his portrait, but what he's going to do is, instead of, if you like, or this is the way I think it will develop, is that rather than him scoring a film, he's going to look at my images and conjure up feelings, so that it might come out as a thick book with paintings and a CD to match, so that look at the painting and then put on the CD, and that's what you're listening to is what he's getting from the painting, which I think is a wonderful collaboration, and especially with somebody like him. When you think of Once Upon a Time in America, and even the spaghetti westerns. I mean, when I went to see that the first, The Good, the Bad and Ugly. I mean, that music was just, Christ, I've never heard that. I mean, I came out of the cinema dying to get a cheroot, stopped shaving and bought a poncho. All right, yeah, I love this.
Jack Vettriano, thanks for joining us in Scotland.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.